This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planning on January 7th, 2026. It was posted on the borough's website at www.hbborough.com and on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, 221 South Fifth Avenue, Highland Park, New Jersey. It has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to the left and right of council chambers. Okay, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Oh, me?
Yes, I thought you were waving as you would like to.
That's called volunteering.
Volunteering.
You got it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And let us pray that we remember that and reestablish.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Foster. Councilmember George.
Here.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Here.
Council President Kim Cho-Han.
Here.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Here.
Councilmember Vargas. Borough Attorney Renaud.
Here.
And Borough Administrator Rivera.
Here. May I have a motion to approve minutes as distributed, February 17, 2026, regular meeting, and February 24th, 2026, work session meeting and executive session.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch.
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho-Han.
Yes.
And Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Council reports. I'm gonna start with Councilman Hale.
Thank you, Madam Most Excellent Council President. As my shirt says, I'm Matt Hale. I chair the Economic Development Committee. So first up is that now that the snow is hopefully gone, the farmers market is back. March 6th was the opening day. Tends to start out a little bit slowly as the vendors come out of hibernation, but still lots of good stuff, so come on down. I know it's only March, but it's never too early to start talking about things coming up. The street fair will be on May 3rd this year, always a great event. And then on May 21st and 22nd, we're gonna have our spring planting days. This is where we bring back to life the huge pots around town. If you'd like to get your hands dirty, please reach out to Main Street to sign up for a planting shift. Last week, we had an excellent meeting to explain some of the proposed changes to our plan for Buckwood's development. The presentation is available on the Borough website. I wanted to thank Terry and our redevelopment attorney, Joe Bauman, for their excellent work on this. We believe that this project will accomplish two of many goals that we have for it. First, it will eliminate a potentially expensive lawsuit while at the same time maintaining the basic size and shape of the development. In addition, it will now have a public tot lot, a small walking trail, 2 entrances in and out of the development, and most importantly, I think a road will finally be connecting the 5th and 7th through to 7th Avenue, which was not created decades ago with the express intent of segregating one Highland Park community from another. So this is a great accomplishment. I also want to thank the many residents who attended the meeting, many of them neighbors of the Buckwoods property. I truly appreciate the smart and essential insights that they had and have about the structure of the property, the construction, and the thoughtful ways and ideas that they brought to the table. We still have a very long way to go before anything happens on Buckwoods, but I'm excited to have the local residents who know and care along with us to make sure that we can make this the best project possible. Thank you to all of them who came for constructive comments, and I look forward to hearing from them as we hopefully move forward on this project. Speaking of projects, tonight on our agenda, we are authorizing our planners to start doing redevelopment studies of Cleveland Avenue, as well as the Sunoco station and surrounding properties. Once again, in order to create a redevelopment plan and ultimately a redevelopment agreement, the first thing that is needed is a redevelopment study of the area. In order to qualify for any type of redevelopment agreement, the properties must meet a set of criteria identified by the state of New Jersey and the planners. And so tonight we are authorizing, hopefully our planners to start that process. And then if you remember last month, I said I was going to continue to give monthly reports on various aspects of code enforcement. I promised last month that this would be a lot shorter, so here we go. First of all, our code office received a total of 7 complaints in February, which I think, as I said last month, seems like an average Tuesday afternoon on Facebook. But it's just a reminder that if you do have a complaint and would like the code office to investigate it, please do it through the report concern link on the Borough website. We issued a total of 72 permits in February, with the most being electrical permits, which brought in about a little over $13,000 in permit fees last month. We conducted a total of 93 inspections, again with electrical being the most prominent, accounting for about 44% of the total inspections. We also noticed a slightly lower pass rate on the inspections than last month. We're about 80% pass. This month it was only about 60%, with about 20% failing, about 20% needing minor adjustments to pass. So this is just a reminder of the importance of going with licensed and reputable installers as you do renovations and changes. And then lastly, violations issued. In February, the code office issued 34 violations, of which 33 included fines. Many, of course, were snow related, which thankfully and hopefully is gone and passed. And with that, thank you, Madam President. That is my report.
Thank you, Councilman Hirsch.
Thanks, Council President. My name is Matthew Hirsch. I'm Chair of the Public Works and Public Utilities Committee. And I hope everybody is enjoying this beautiful warm weather. It feels like it has been an eternity since we were in 12-degree weather, but it wasn't. It was recent. So get out there and enjoy. Just a few items tonight. We'll keep it short. The Shade Tree Advisory Committee meets next Wednesday, March 11th at 7:30 p.m. On Zoom, please, or on Teams. Please find the link at www.hbboro.com. Woodbridge Avenue construction has resumed, and striping is in place, so please take care over there. Just like if you see a violation, you can also report a pothole, and 'tis the season for the potholes to really make their to rear their faces, particularly with the smelting ice and fresh off of the snowplows. So our crews are out there on Wednesdays. You'll probably see that some more egregious potholes around town have been filled today. Please keep reporting them, because we need to know about it before you or me or anybody damages a rim. And certainly I am not immune to damaging tires on potholes, not just in Highland Park. It really is everywhere. So it's important that we all just stay vigilant and report those. I wanted to point to a few items on the agenda tonight. 3 resolutions. I'm going to start with 11E 32676. That's a resolution authorizing emergency water main repairs on Highland Avenue between Dryer Place and Highland Avenue with Vinci Plumbing. Just wanted to also make a note that as the warm weather comes and things start to thaw, we have seen pipes fluctuate, and we have seen our share of water main breaks. So please stay alert to that. If you don't get the Borough's Nixle notifications notifying of water main breaks and construction and potentially boil water advisories, I strongly recommend that you sign up at the Borough's website, www.hbboro.com. However, Middlesex Water, our water utility company, is fantastic when it comes to customer service, and they make sure that they get out there door to door, so everybody knows what's going on. I wanted to point to 11J, that's resolution 32681. That's a resolution authorizing the purchase of a new garbage truck with Sanitation Equipment Corp. and Hudson County Motors for the Highland Park Public Works Department, to which I am chair. I want to thank Council President Kim Chohan, who chairs Finance, Terry Gobert, the Mayor, and my esteemed colleagues on the Public Works Public Utilities Committee. This is a big deal. It's always a big deal anytime a small town buys a big piece of equipment, and this is one that we desperately need. And then I want to save the best for last. Well, it's not the best. It's just very interesting to me, and something that we worked on. So I want to explain it. 11A 32672. That's a resolution requesting permission for the dedication by rider for donations for Sustainable Highland Park Committee community events and awareness. And what this allows us to do is that, we have some really engaged, plugged in boards and commissions. And I happen to be liaison to a few of the really strong ones, that are really out there in the community, including Sustainable Highland Park. Sustainable Highland Park is the Highland Park's green team, and basically are tasked to help earn our sustainability points that make us that give us that make us more eligible for state grants and other grants. And obviously, Terry Hobert and her team worked hard on amassing those sustainability points through administrative actions as well. But when we have these groups out in town developing relationships and making connections, we have it. Go figure, it attracts more volunteers and more people who want to support. So we get a really frequent question about how can I donate money? Well, it's the town, we can't. And so we have to get permission we have to get permission from local government services at the Department of Community Affairs to actually declare a dedication by rider, so folks can contribute for specific purposes. So like our Adopt a Drain program or our community cleanups. That's what this goes to. It doesn't go into the general fund. It's for specific programmatic needs. So once we get permission from the state for this, we'll have the opportunity to allow folks to be engaged in however they want. There's a few boards that do have kind of a legacy dedication by rider, including the Arts Commission. But I just think that this is a very exciting and creative way to think about widening our resources in tight times. And on that, I was at the I'm wearing a suit today because I was at the State House for Governor Sherrill's FY27 budget address. We're expecting about a $60 billion budget, which is up about $1.5 billion from last year. Not necessarily due to expenditures, but because of just increasing costs, particularly with health insurance. New Jersey, is in tough financial shape, and we have done a really great job, with funding the pension fund and getting our state back in financial order. But it is a drag on our budget. It presents major budget constraints. So it's really important for us to hear what the governor is saying and to take cues on how we can generate our own resources, how, where the revenue comes from. There was some discussion about removing quote unquote Christmas tree items. And these are these funds that are appropriated to localities to achieve capital needs, particularly in Highland Park. That's what we use it for. So it's understanding that the state is in tight budget times, but also understanding that there are ways to be creative and ways to think outside the box when it comes to developing additional resources. But if you didn't watch, if folks at home did not watch Governor Sherrill's budget address, you can find it on YouTube or on her website, nj.gov. She was very good. And I think that level of clarity and methodical approach to governance is going to do New Jersey very well right now. So it's just important for us all to pay attention, see what the limitations are, and see how we can better resource our town. That's my report, Council President. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman George.
Thank you, Council President Kim Cho-Han. And good evening, everyone. What a great evening to enjoy after the cold, wet weather and the deep snow. I'm Phil George, and I serve as the liaison between the Borough Council and all of our union and the services, the police, fire, first aid squad. At the police department, at the public safety meeting this morning, we discussed a number of issues. In the most recent snowstorm, just to explain how things worked, under the plan that we have between the administration, public works, and the police department, EMS, fire department, the police department and public works worked closely with each other once the snow hit about 2 to 3 inches, which is kind of our emergency mark. The police send out the Nixle reports, and then as the snow got deeper, we'd circulate around town with our loudspeakers, literally telling people, hey, you need to move the blue car with license plate number, blah, 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 so that we get the cars off the street. So try to avoid some of the problems we had last time. Fortunately, the snow did melt a little bit quicker But we did manage to do that. We towed 18 cars and issued 48 summonses on the vehicles that we weren't able to get people to move. But we did manage to have a much clearer street this time around. Some interesting news, the police department, along with Keep Middlesex Moving, is having a sticker contest for the 3rd and 5th grades for active moving. The participants can draw a drawing that they would like to see as a sticker to support walking, cycling, and now, as we call it, rolling, which is all of the electric scooters and one-wheelers and so on. And the winner gets chosen, and the county will print a sticker and circulate it all over the county, which is a really good thing for our students to join in. The 7th through 12th grade version the entries are on our website for the police department and the Facebook page, is to shoot a video for the same types of presentations, which will then be shown on the county site and some of the local public stations. So please check that out. It does look like a very interesting program. We also send out congratulations to the new Middlesex County Prosecutor Linda Estramella, who was appointed to fill the 5-year vacancy term recently. And finally, you'll notice on the resolutions on the consent agenda is to delete a handicap space. Just so the public understands, we're not actually reducing handicap spaces to reduce ADA compliance or anything like that. Under the state statutes and under our local ordinance, we can assess periodically our use of handicap spots. In this particular case, people in the neighborhood said this handicap space was no longer used, but it was still there. The person who had been using it had been long deceased. So we did a traffic study, which is required. And as a result, we're removing that to open up another public parking space in that area. That handicap space actually goes back into our reserves to use for in the event that we want to put another handicap space in that district. For the fire department, we had 58 calls for the 28 days of February. That's pretty high volume. Anything from particularly minor issues to smell of gas on up to any kind of potentially serious fire risks. We answered 17 calls for service in the 24-hour period during the last blizzard that we had, hopefully the last blizzard of 2026. And we had full staffing at the firehouse for the entire 72 hours of the blizzard emergency. Finally, with regard to the fire department, last month's departmental drill focused on the use and training for the self-contained breathing apparatus and mask confidence training. As you know, as you've seen the pictures, the firefighters answering a fire wear about 75 pounds of turnout, what's called turnout equipment, including the coats, boots, the hats, but then in addition, there's the breathing tanks and the mask and so on. Having tried it one time, I'm not physically up to it. I don't know how these guys do it. It is tough, heavy, and part of the program is to keep them familiar with using it so that you could dive right in, get ready during an emergency without any hesitancy, with putting everything together. Finally, with regard to the library, the inaugural event for the Between Two Worlds townwide book reading was a musical program. We had over 70 people in attendance at the library for the initial event, which is something of a record for the program. The next event is this Friday, March 13th, 1 o'clock, is the movie Limbo as part of the program for Between Two Worlds. It's an offbeat observation of the refugee experience on a fictional remote Scottish island where a group of arrivals await the results of their asylum claims. That's Friday at 1 o'clock at the library. The next event after that is Tuesday the 17th at 7 p.m. is the journal writing program to show on how several types of journals can be maintained That's inspired by the main character in the novel that we're all reading, who is struggling to learn a new language and cope with different way of life in the United States. And one of the underlying themes in the book is the maintaining of a journal. So those are the events that are going on in the next couple of weeks. I hope you will attend them. And good luck to everybody with the spring coming up soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President and Acting Mayor. Just have a few updates for tonight. My name is Jason Selnick. I chair the Health and Human Services Committee. Like I indicated, there's just a couple of things to report in that area. First, I just wanted to note that the next monthly meeting of the Board of Health is coming up this Thursday at 7 p.m. They'll be meeting over Google Meet, and you can access the link on the Borough website, hpboro.com, if you're interested in listening in. There's also a vacancy at the moment on the Board of Health. And so if you're interested in participating and working on public health issues facing our town, I encourage you to go to the Borough website and find the volunteer application and submit it to a Borough clerk. Next up, just want to note that the Human Relations Commission will be meeting the following week, Wednesday, March 18th at 7:30 p.m. They hold a hybrid meeting, which will be held at the lower level conference room in person here at Borough Hall, and then also over on Google Meet. And if you'd like to join remotely, the meeting link can be accessed at our Borough website. And then also staying with Human Relations Commission on Sunday, March 22nd, they'll be co-hosting the Highland Park DEI Cookie Exchange from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the Highland Park Community Center. This event aims to show support for DEI in a sweet way by bringing and exchanging cookies from all different cultures. I think everyone should try to come early. I will try not to eat all the cookies. And lastly, same again, on the Human Relations Commission, they have a couple of vacancies. So if you're interested in working on events and programming like that to help bring our community together, please submit a volunteer application available through our Borough website. And that was all that I had for tonight.
Okay, thank you. And we don't have mayor's report, but I have my report. So good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Kim Chohan, and I chair finance. So before we get into the agenda, I want to recognize Women's History Month. And as we recognize Women's History Month, it's worth remembering that women's progress as the chair of finance, and women's progress in finance wasn't only cultural, it was legal and practical. While women weren't broadly barred by law from opening bank accounts, access to credit was a different story. For decades, women were routinely denied loans or required to bring a male co-signer. That was even their uncles, their brothers, or whoever they can find. So in 1974, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act made it illegal for creditors to discriminate based on sex or marital status, which was a major step forward towards financial independence, helping women build credit in their own name, buy homes, and access to capital. This history is a reminder of why fair access, transparency, and financial inclusion still matters today. Now, a few key items on tonight's agenda as it relates to finance. We have our temporary budget amendment. That's to maintain operations until the budget, regular budget is adopted, which you will be hearing more of very soon. And then, as Councilman Hirsch mentioned, our authorizing the purchase of a new garbage truck and to support reliable sanitation services, which was much needed. Also, grant support, so supporting the You Drive, You Tax, You Pay distracted driving crackdown for the month of April, with the state reimbursing up to $7,000 for this enforcement. We also have a project closeout, the final payment estimate for the community center roof. It's also on the agenda. And also just wanted to give two announcements on regarding some state level items. So New Jersey offers a free online filing for many residents. This is your online taxes. So you can check the Division of Taxation's official online filing options to see if you qualify and can file at no cost. And also wanted to make another announcement that maybe some of our residents could qualify for. Airbnb is offering $750 for new hosts or hosts with no active listing as of April 1st, 2026, and eligible North and Central New Jersey locations ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So this is worth looking into. Maybe have a spare room, college kid, someone's there. I don't have the space. I wish I had the space, but that's our location. So thank you, and that's my report. Borough Administrator, do you have a report?
Good evening. No, I don't have a report tonight.
Borough Attorney.
Thank you. My report will be very brief. It's just to once again review the agenda and especially for the upcoming public participation. There are two opportunities for the public to speak tonight. The first one is coming up. It is on any item on the agenda. That's your items on ordinances on first reading, as well as your resolutions. At the end of the agenda, you'll see a second public participation that gives you an additional 3 minutes, and that's on any topic that you wish to bring to the council. As a reminder, when comments are made to the council, they are just that, they're comments. The council will hear all the comments, and then they can choose at their discretion as to whether or not they want to respond to them, answer any questions. And we do that to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to make whatever comment that they need to make without having too much back and forth. Council President, that concludes my report.
Now it's time for public participation. 21 minutes total, 3 minutes per speaker, limited to items on this agenda. Comments from members of the public attending the meeting in person will be heard first, followed by members of the public attending the meeting via Zoom.
Mary Gauthier on Madison Avenue, asking you to table resolution 32678. Please don't rubber stamp the renewal for Blackburn. There's a lot of information I'm going to give you. You need to digest it, please, before you go forward. I have copies of everything for you. This dispensary was given several golden passes to open in the first place. Gail Mittler, for 7 months, she was still mayor, never mentioned her son was involved in the pot shop. Section 2F of their application appears to have false information on it. It says Arnold Weinberg is a co-owner of All Colors. This has been brought up twice to council, and nothing has been provided otherwise. State business registrations and LinkedIn profiles do not substantiate this section of the application. Another big golden pass. In February 2023, when you approved their first license, it appears to have been done without a quorum. 6 council members were present. Canavera was a no. Kim Chohan and Pastolnik abstained. That's 3 out of 6 with no affirmative vote. Elsie as mayor did not vote at all. So even if you thought it was a tie, it still was not to go through, and it did. And in violation of the HP 2023 rules of order, neither Kim Chohan nor Pastolnik gave their reasons for abstention on the record. That was the rule at the time. The golden pass continued as the minute meetings in February were falsely recorded. It falsely lists Canavera as a yes and Kim Chohan as a yes. Again, Canavera was a no, Kim Chohan abstained. The false information was perpetuated again the next month when council members voted the false minutes through. This means this dispensary should not have been given its first-year license in the first place. So not only did it spend all of 2024 getting extensions from Highland Park, once it finally did open last April, it has not been the best neighbor. I'm also giving you a compilation of the potential advertising violations, including they are using New Jersey Department of Transportation traffic signs for their own signage, among other infractions. And last but not least, you're going to get copies of some sample testing of their products. 11 products were sampled at Blackburn. 6 of them failed, 54%. Interesting too, they claim good neighborliness is important to them. That's the word in their application. They have not been a good neighbor, even with these golden passes. One of their pages claimed they asked residents within 1,000 feet if they would object to being there. These names are from River Road, South 6th Avenue, Cedar Ave. These are not within 1,000 feet. Again, it went through on the application and it shouldn't have. Please do not rubber stamp it. Please table it until you can review this information. We don't need this in order to survive in Highland Park. Please consider this carefully. Thank you so much. And I'll give the packet of everything I've just talked about to the attorney if you can make copies and make sure everybody please receives it. Thank you.
Melissa Gorduke, Lewis Street. I'm speaking on 11G. So the residents on Lewis and Crowell and Woodbridge, not Crowell, Hilton, were finally notified. So I spoke to them. They filled out paperwork. They couldn't come here tonight, but they wanted you to know that they're not functioning well with this environment because of what's going on. The litter, the smell, their quality of life is deteriorating. And they would have been here, and I would have, if I had more time, I would have gotten more names. But what I usually do is I bring them their packages back, and I say, here, you know, like, you need to do a better job. Remember, I told you, drag a garbage can to the side because they're walking down the Bakken and dropping as they go. They're walking down Crowell, dropping as they go. This yellow tube was found in Carsey Park. That's the only one from Carsey Park. The other one was on the Bakken in a driveway. These were found next to Acme Auto Body, which is up the top of Crowell, which is Highland Park. And in their application, they're saying that we're going to reuse materials, and they're not reusing materials. It's being dropped all over the neighborhood, and it smells. And I walk with a dog. So these are the ones that I found in 50 feet of Irving School across the street. They look like they're M&M jars. The one that was at the bottom of the slide, I thought it was an M&M jar. But I went back a day later and it was still there, and I picked it up, and sure enough, it says Blackburn, and it's 2 splits. And you can smell it from over here. These are pictures of everything I found. They didn't shovel their driveways, so everyone was parking at the bar. The bar is losing business. The bar wants to put stickers on cars saying, please get out of my driveway. No one can park here.
30 seconds.
Okay. And they're not complying. And what they were told when the owner of the bar went over was, what are you going to do about it? If you have me towed, you can't have me towed that fast. I'll be out with my purchase before. But I can give you all these pictures. You can clearly see Blackburn, and the children just dropped them. And also I found a package of tobacco. It was just laying there open, and my dog could have eaten it. Okay. There's one in here that says Exeter Street. You can barely read it because it was a disabled man.
Thank you.
And I know you don't want these, so I'll take it to Blackburn.
I'm happy with the photos. Thanks.
Okay.
Well, Colleen Tyler, 142 North 6th Avenue, Highland Park. I've come up here as much as I possibly can to express my dismay over the decisions this council is making in relationship to welcoming all the pot shops into our town. They bring, aside from some revenue, which I have no idea where that revenue goes. I've asked but not received any answers. There's no obvious reason why we need to have the number of pot shops that we do, and there's no obvious reason why the mayor and borough support these businesses. They're absolutely bring nothing to the town. There's nothing of benefit that they bring, and they pose a big danger in addition to not bringing anything worthwhile. So here again, I stand and ask you to please have a little bit of courage and vote against resolution 32678, authorizing renewal of a business license for Blackburn to operate adult personal use cannabis business within the Borough of Highland Park. It's really bad for the town.
Hi, Marka Sans, mother to 3 kids in the town, 1 in public school, 2 in private schools, and I have huge concerns of a pot shop near a primary school. We want to keep our children safe. We're 15,000 people in this town, and we already have 4 pot shops. How many pot shops does a 15,000 people Borough needs? There's plenty of room of up to other businesses that don't endanger our kids. So I would like the council to reconsider providing the license on behalf of the Jewish community in this town. Thank you.
I just want to give this to somebody because I don't want to take it back to them. I've been there a million times and they're not listening to me.
Who volunteers on council to take it into Blackburn?
I go there like every other day with some garbage for them.
No one
I'll handle it,
volunteers?
Melissa. I got you.
Thank you.
And we're going to check next week to make sure you dropped it off there now.
I'm sorry.
It's not the first time someone's given you trash.
Smelly trash.
You
The
want
point
to
is to
do,
give it to them.
there are 5 attendees, but no hands raised.
Seeing no further comments, may I have a motion to close public participation?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Okay, ordinances requiring a first reading. Clerk, please report on introduction of ordinance number 26-2126.
An ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 278-17, parking on-street accessible parking spaces within the Borough of Highland Park has been introduced by the Public Safety Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance number 26-2126?
So moved.
Second.
On introduction, authorizing publication as required by law and set up public hearing for March 24th, 2026. Roll call.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Consent agenda items. Would any council members like to remove any items from the consent agenda for a separate vote? May I have a motion to adopt the following consent agenda items, 11A through 11P?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
I'm a yes, but I do want to just acknowledge, the feedback that we've heard today, and I want it to be clear that it is heard. I know, Melissa has expressed concerns about, litter in Carsey Park stemming from Blackburn. I know there's parking considerations over there too, particularly when it comes to Park Pub. So, Woodbridge Avenue is a very special corridor in Highland Park, and it's important that, we do our best to make sure that Woodbridge Avenue is walkable, presentable, family friendly. There is a school right there. And I think, and it's important that our retail actors, operate with respect to the community. That's not to say that they're not, but if there are issues that residents are reporting, I think we have to follow up, in the short term, just like we do with the service stations and auto body shops when they park on the street. We have to go in and do a check. Because if they do want to, if they, these stores, the way that our law is written requires buy-in each time there's a license renewal. The way our law is required, that's not the state law. Our law requires that we do this buy-in each time the license is renewed. And I think that raises the standard on the retailer to show its work and show, that they're responding to community input. So I would like to see some follow-up with the concerns that we've heard tonight. And so with that, I am a yes to release.
Council President Kim Cho-Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes, and I just also echo those sentiments regarding the littering and parking issues, something we should look into.
Resolutions requiring a separate reading. May I have a motion to adopt resolution 3-26-88, resolution to approve budget transfers?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho-Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing amendment to the 2026 temporary budget. May I have a motion to adopt or reject resolution 3-26-89, resolution authorizing amendment to the 2026 temporary budget?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho-Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
And appointment, Safe Walking and Cycling Committee, Catherine Hall, and Community Emergency Response Team, Janet Holdell. May I have a motion to confirm
So moved.
Second.
and roll call?
Councilmember George,
Both these volunteers have been participating in these committees. Ms. Bull is a great member of Safe Walking and Cycling, which is really moving ahead with their agenda, and Ms. Bodell, great addition to the emergency response team. Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Just want to echo Phil. I'm really happy to see Catherine on SWAC. I think her insight is extremely important, and she's a neighbor, and we look forward to her work there. Yes.
Council President Kim Cho-Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes, and thank you, our community volunteers.
And now it's time for our second public participation, 3 minutes per speaker on any topic, subject to 9 p.m. conclusion. Comments from members of the public attending the meeting in person will be heard first, followed by members of the public attending the meeting via Zoom.
142 North Sixth Avenue. I just wanted to comment on how these decisions are made through the council, the way the agenda is set up. And, it's just, I have yet, in a few years that I've been coming up here, whenever a pot shop renewal is up, I have yet to see anybody actually take this resolution out of the consent agenda and have an actual discussion.
about it. We've got strong input. I mean, almost every meeting where there's a new pot shop renewal. There's strong opinion against what's happening in Highland Park. And the way meetings are set up, you don't get any response at all. I mean, basically, okay, we got one response today, but normally it's just rubber stamped, it's stuck in the middle of the consent agenda along with parking regulations and other ordinary day-to-day things. This is a really important issue. And it's important to a lot of people in Highland Park, especially people with children. Blackburn, literally across the street from an elementary school. It didn't have to be that way. Highland Park voted when first made a decision to bring pot shops into Highland Park. The conscious decision was made, we'll do a hands-off. You can do whatever you want. You can put your pot shops wherever you want. We're going to encourage this business wholeheartedly. I do not know why that's the case, and no one's ever said why. There's no reason for it. But burying it in consent agenda is so counterproductive to having an actual give and take with the community. I would think for responsive government, we'd want to have concerns, legitimate concerns that are brought up, addressed, and have some kind of back and forth discussion about it rather than just burying it in the consent agenda and rubber stamping it every single time. I have a big problem with that, the way this operates, the way you're operating with this issue. It's a big problem. I don't know that anything's going to happen to it, but I'm going to go on record as saying this is a problem. Mary Botian, Madison Ave. Just to follow up on what was said here, again, it's just really incredibly disappointing that a resident hands you a packet of information to review, just asking you to table a resolution until you have a chance to go through it. And you don't even do that. I guess, I'd like to hear from you as to why are you choosing not to even look at what has been handed to you before you adopt all of these resolutions? What would be the problem in tabling it, looking at what has been given to you? That is my question to you. I hope you will each answer these questions. Thank you so much.
Terry, is anyone on Zoom? No, we have 4 attendees on Zoom and no hands raised.
Seeing no further comment, may I have a motion to close public participation?
So moved.
Second. Oh, I said it. I'm sorry.
So you can't second, actually.
Oh, I
You
can't.
call for the
second.
motion, so we need someone else.
Second.
There you go.
Roll call.
Councilmember George,
Yes.
Councilmember Hale,
Yes.
Councilmember Hirsch,
Yes.
Council President Kim Cho-Han,
Yes.
Councilmember Pistonik.
Yes.
So actually, Mary, I've heard and Ms. Tyler, your comments. I think this license was expiring within next week as well too, so that's why it was on the agenda. And the conversations that we had about when the state, I think maybe what was that in 21 or 22, wanted municipalities to make decision whether you were gonna accept marijuana shops or not. That was when those discussions were had, and that is, I think, multiple discussions were had. I think even that whole summer we discussed allowing these businesses, and I know economic development, it almost went through every committee. So I mean, at this point, these are brick and mortar businesses, and any complaints like I think Councilman Hurst said, should be followed up on, just like we follow up on any other complaints with businesses in town.
The question I asked was, why are you each willing to not even look at a packet of information given you before voting, even just to table it? If your excuse is that because the license is due next week, you'd rather put through a license for a whole nother year than look at the actual information that is very detrimental, false in this process. And that doesn't speak well of the integrity of this council. You're willing to put through, perpetuate false information, samples that failed, advertising that is violative, all because you have to rush through for next week. Then put a special meeting in between.
Sorry, the parliamentarian is going to just for 2 seconds, and I'm not looking to stop anything, but just as a reminder, the public participation aspect has expired. So
how would I address
so
the fact that she's not
so
answering the question, and none of them are doing what we asked them to do?
Public participation portion is your opportunity to address the council. This is the council's
It
opportunity to
closes,
respond to you.
her comments are
Ma'am,
after I spoke.
Ma'am, I can't answer your question if you're not going to allow me to answer the question. So the public participation portion of the meeting gives the public the opportunity to address and bring forth any questions or concerns that they have to the council. It is now the council's opportunity to respond to those and offer, whatever insights they choose to do. That's the conclusion of the interaction. Now, it doesn't mean that you are barred from reaching out to the council thereafter. You certainly are entitled to reach out to the council members through their emails, telephones, however many interactions that you have. But for the purpose of this meeting, the public portion has concluded. I'm trying to give you a few minutes, and you guys are having a back and forth, and I tried, but I don't want it to kind of burn further and further and further out. So I just wanted to. I know you were trying to wrap your point up, and then Council President was providing an answer. So, but that's.
Is it Phil has suggested I come back up to the microphone? Is that
To the extent that there will be statements, whether the parliamentarian allows it to go forward. I want to make sure that the citizen is on the record, that her statements are on the record. To sitting back over there, I don't think we were picking it up.
No, and I understand, and I can appreciate where you're too. And like I said, it's normally the public portion is gone. There was a little bit of back, and I understood it, and I'm not trying to stymie anyone from having a conversation. I just have to kind of make my 2 cents of the public portion has concluded. Council President's made her comments. I don't know if there's anything more to add in this particular conversation. If it needs to continue on, it can continue on kind of after the conclusion of the meeting. You're certainly welcome to continue to engage.
Well, if there is a way that
members.
as Phil has, I really appreciate that, Phil, that you suggested my comments can get on the record at this time, that your answers were nothing to do with the questions I asked, nor I asked if each council member could please address why they were not willing to look at all this information before they were even voting.
Your request is on the record, and this is all on the record as well. So it's not.
But her answer was not related to my question. She started going back to 2021. Yeah, other than the fact that she said they were coming up quickly on the license.
I understand.
All the more reason to look at the information you're given and not just rush it through.
I understand where you're coming from.
Are my comments now on the
That's
record?
a
Will they be in the
That's always-
transcript?
Yes.
Will be in the
No,
transcript.
yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
No. Yeah. They're on the record.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it.
Council President, may I respond?
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
thank you, Mary, Rivka, Colleen, Melissa. I take your presence here to heart, and I know it's genuine, and I want you to really understand that, and I also understand your concerns. The way that I don't know if I can directly answer your question, Mary, but I will answer the best that I can. This process is frustrating. I will say our local ordinance is written in a way that requires the entire council to vote each time a license needs renewal. That's not required under the state law. It can be, this is a ministerial, so essentially what you're seeing is more of a ministerial vote rather than a referendum on the value of the store. It's more administrative, and that's why unless there is a gross violation of something, we really would have no reason reject this resolution. I will say though, at some point though, I would like to see our ordinance rewritten to address this and streamline it and perhaps even create a public feedback process. I'm also interested to know about the revenue as well, and I think that's a good question. But I will say that these resolutions might feel like a vote and a referendum on whatever it is that we're voting on. But in this case, it's other way. In most towns, this would be an administrative action that would not require the votes of council. So it's an opportunity to come and express your opinions, and I respect and appreciate that. But you know, this is rare in New Jersey. And so perhaps that's something that we can look at to maybe better streamline the process and at least make the public more aware that this is happening.
No further comments? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
We are adjourned.